For more than 5 decades, the Bongo family entrenched itself through patronage, awarding lucrative roles in government to allies and extended family. Their path to power began when Ali Bongo's father, Omar Bongo, was backed by France to take over as president in 1967. Following the death of the country's independence leader Liomba, who succumbed to cancer after being bolstered back into power following a coup in 1964. Omar Bongo came into power 7 years after Gabon had won its independence from France, and he served as president of Gabon for almost 42 years from 1967 until his death in 2009. Omar Bongo won a series of elections under claims of electoral rigging, and he removed the country's runoff system and replaced it with single-round voting. For many years, Omar Bongo imposed a one-party system. The Central African nation's oil wealth was recirculated among the elite to ensure loyalty. Omar Bongo's regime extended his family jobs in the military, parliament, and state commerce. After leading the oil-rich nation for almost 42 years, Omar Bongo died in June 2009. And his son Ali Bongo, who had long been assigned key ministerial responsibilities by his father, was elected to succeed him in August of that year. Ali Bongo served as president of Gabon from October 2009 until he was overthrown in August 2023, following the results of the 2023 Gabonese general election. In this episode, we look at the rise and fall of Ali Bongo Ondimba, who was the third president of Gabon. Ali Bongo was born Alain Bernard Bongo in neighboring Brazzaville, Congo on the 9th of February 1959, and he was the son of Albert Bernard Bongo, later known as Omar Bongo Ondimba, and Josephine Kama, later known as Patient Dabani. His mother was 18 years old at the time of his birth. He was conceived 18 months before their marriage, and there have been rumors that he was adopted from the Nigerian southeast at the time of the Biafran War, which he has always denied. The young Alain Bernard Bongo was still in primary school when his father, Omar Bongo, took control of Gabon in 1967. At the age of 9, the young Alain Bernard Bongo was sent to a private school in France, where he later studied law. This international upbringing led many in Gabon to view him as an outsider. Alain Bernard became Ali Bernard, and his father, Albert Bernard, became Omar Bernard in 1973. After they both converted to Islam, the only members of their family to do so. It was never all about politics for the young Ali Bongo. However, he showed a passion for football and music, something inherited from his mother, the Gabonese singer Patient Dabani. In 1977, Ali Bongo released a funk album. After graduating from his law course, Ali Bongo entered politics, joining his father's political party, the Gabonese Democratic Political Party, the PDG, in 1981, which was the sole legal political party in the country. He was his father's personal representative to the PDG, and in that capacity, he entered the PDG Political Bureau in 1984. He was then elected to the Political Bureau in 1986. Ali Bongo held the post of High Personal Representative of the President of the Republic from 1987 to 1989. In 1989, his father appointed him to the government as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, a position he held from 1989 to 1991. In the 1990 parliamentary election, which was the first election after the introduction of multi-party politics, he was elected to the National Assembly as a PDG candidate. After 2 years as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, a 1991 constitutional amendment setting a minimum age of 35 for ministers, and Ali Bongo was 32 at the time, so this resulted in his departure from the government. Following his departure from the government, Ali Bongo took up his seat as a deputy in the National Assembly in 1991. In January 1999, his father appointed him as Minister of Defense. In the 2001 parliamentary election, Ali Bongo was re-elected to the National Assembly as a PDG candidate. In July 2003, he was elected as Vice President of the PDG. In January 2006, he became Minister of State, while retaining the defense portfolio. In the 2006 parliamentary election, Ali Bongo was re-elected to the National Assembly as a PDG candidate for the 4th time. In September 2008, he was re-elected as Vice President of the PDG. Ali Bongo served in his father's government as Minister of Defense for 10 years from 1999 to 2009. However, Ali Bongo wasn't immediately seen as a natural successor to his father, but in the end he has been more thoughtful than he seemed. And his succession to the presidency did not come as a surprise given the years spent inside his father's political circle. His father, President Omar Bongo, died in Spain on June 8, 2009. Ali Bongo, the defense minister, appeared on television that night to call for calm and peace. After Omar Bongo's death, the power struggle for a successor was centered inside the ruling party, the PDG. Ali Bongo was one of 10 candidates who submitted applications to become the PDG candidate in the presidential election scheduled for August 30, 2009. Some press reports predicted a power struggle between Ali Bongo and his sister Pascaline Bongo, who was director of the presidential cabinet. The degree of support for Ali Bongo within the PDG leadership was also questioned in the press, and it was argued that many Gabonese see him as a spoiled child born in Brazzaville, Congo, brought up in France, hardly able to speak indigenous languages and with the appearance of a hip-hop star. In the end, Ali Bongo was chosen as the PDG candidate and he won the August 30 elections. However, the announcement of his victory was followed by mass protest and violence, leaving several people dead. And amid allegation of fraud, there was a recount of the votes before again declaring Ali Bongo the winner, and he was sworn in as president on the 16th of October 2009. Throughout his entire time in office, Ali Bongo's legitimacy has been questioned by his opponents. And under the rule of the Bongo family, the constitution and the electoral laws were changed multiple times in order to remove term limits, change the voting system to exploit the fractured opposition, and change the timing of elections to ensure the opposition could not rally following a win by the ruling party. The Bongo family has been accused of personally exploiting the country's natural resources and embezzling public monies. And according to an investigation report, the Bongo family own expensive cars and properties in France and the United States, often paid for in cash. Despite Gabon being a member of OPEC, a oil cartel, one of Africa's major producers of oil, which accounts for 60% of the national revenue and having one of the highest per capita GDP on the continent, Gabon faces serious socio-economic crisis. A third of the population lives below the poverty line of $5 per day, and the unemployment rate among Gabonese aged 15 to 24 was estimated at 40% in 2020. However, Ali Bongo has been recognized by some observers for implementing important political reforms. He has been credited for pushing through a law banning the export of tropical woods, which cover nearly 90% of Gabon. Following the 2009 presidential election that brought Ali Bongo into power, Gabon's next presidential election was held in 2016 and Ali Bongo was re-elected. This election was marred by numerous irregularities, arrests, human rights violations, and post-election protest and violence. Ali Bongo was re-elected by 5,500 votes, edging out the main opposition challenger Jinping. The announcement of the results sparked violence that resulted in the loss of lives, and the National Assembly was set on fire. In 2018, Ali Bongo suffered a stroke and he was hospitalized in Saudi Arabia. Many questions Ali Bongo's fitness to lead after the stroke. He wasn't seen in public for nearly a year, but he began making political changes after a failed coup attempt in 2019. The coup attempt came when soldiers and military officers stormed the state radio and television headquarters, took staff hostage, and declared they had taken control of the nation.
Le message à la nation du chef de l'État, Ali Bongo Ondimba, visant à clore rapidement le débat sur sa santé, a plutôt renforcé les doutes sur sa capacité à assumer les lourdes charges liées à la fonction de président de la République. Une fois encore, une fois de trop, les conservateurs acharnés du pouvoir, dans leur funeste besogne, continuent d'instrumentaliser et de chosifier la personne d'Ali Bongo Ondimba, en mettant en scène un malade dépourvu de plusieurs de ses facultés physiques et mentales. Face à toutes ces manœuvres de manipulation et de théâtralisation et devant le blocage du fonctionnement régulier des pouvoirs publics qu'elle entraîne, à l'heure des défis mondiaux, le spectacle désolant de ce discours de Nouvel An à la nation est une honte aux yeux du monde pour notre pays qui a perdu sa dignité. Sous le regard complice de la haute hiérarchie militaire, ces officiers généraux supérieurs et subalternes qui ont failli à leur mission, celle de défendre les intérêts supérieurs de la nation. Ces derniers ont décidé de privilégier leurs intérêts personnels. La patrie nous a tout donné. Elle a fait de nous les personnalités que nous sommes. Nous ne pouvons l'abandonner au moment où elle a le plus besoin de nous. Ainsi, le mouvement patriotique des jeunes des forces de défense et de sécurité, soucieux de sauver la démocratie en péril, préserver l'intégrité du territoire national et la cohésion nationale, a décidé ce jour de prendre ses responsabilités afin de mettre en déroute toutes les manœuvres en cours visant la confiscation du pouvoir par ceux qui, dans la nuit du 31 août 2016, ont lâchement fait assassiner nos jeunes compatriotes avec le soutien des institutions illégitimes.
The coup attempt was put down hours after the announcement, and 2 of the mutineers were shot dead with 8 arrested. And Ali Bongo retained his position, and he later announced that he would run for re-election in 2023. The elections were held on the 26th of August 2023. Foreign media outlets and independent observers were reportedly blocked from entering Gabon on the day of the election. On the day of the election, Ali Bongo's government cut off internet access throughout the nation and impose a nationwide curfew. The government claimed that they cut off internet access to prevent the spread of false news and potential violence. On the 30th of August, the official election results were announced in the middle of the night on state television without prior notice, and Ali Bongo was declared the winner with over 64% of the votes. Minutes after the announcement, the military seized the presidential palace in Libreville and gunshots was heard in the city. Around the morning hours, about a dozen military personnel appeared on state television and announced the end of Ali Bongo's regime. They also announced the annulment of the election, the dissolution of state institutions, and the closure of the country's borders.
Ce jour, 30 août 2023, nous, forces de défense et de sécurité, réunis au sein du Comité pour la transition et la restauration des institutions, CTRI, au nom du peuple gabonais et garant de la protection des institutions, avons décidé de défendre la paix en mettant fin au régime en place. À cet effet, les élections générales du 26 août 2023 ainsi que les résultats tronqués sont annulés. Les frontières sont fermées jusqu'à nouvel ordre. Toutes les institutions de la République sont dissoutes, notamment le gouvernement, le Sénat, l'Assemblée nationale, la Cour constitutionnelle, le Conseil économique, social et environnemental, le Conseil gabonais des élections.
The junta later announced the arrest and home detention of Ali Bongo and his eldest son. Also arrested were several of Ali Bongo's presidential aides. The junta said they were facing charges of treason, embezzlement, corruption, falsifying the president's signature, and drug trafficking. Despite his detention, Ali Bongo released a video on social media pleading for help, calling on his friends and supporters to raise their voice and make noise in response to the coup.
I'm Ali Bongo, Ondimba, President of Gabon, and I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise, for the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
Large crowds took to the street to celebrate the coup d'etat, as the coup brought an end to the 56-year-long rule of the Bongo family over Gabon. And Ali Bongo's cousin, head of the Republican Guard, General Bryson Nguema, was installed as the transitional president by the military junta.